Pornography is one of the most dangerous vices modern men face. Some get hooked on it as young as 10, 11 years old, and they are stuck on it for decades even. And no one talks about it. You hear about alcohol, you hear about drugs, but not about that. It's a topic that most people are uncomfortable to even bring up, but it plagues so many people, and it's encouraged in our society. You can go on sites like Instagram and see soft versions of it, soft porn, and it leads people to great addictions that they struggle with for years. And most people don't care, right? Like it's encouraged and it's incentivized, and it's a moneymaker in our society. And it's to the detriment of the modern man. And I think a lot of the problems that most men today have some root in this vice-filled industry. And there's the cultural element, but also on the personal level, right? When you're addicted to this, you view the world differently, you view people differently, you talk to people differently. And for those people who act as if, oh, it's not that big of a deal, or you're not addicted, it doesn't matter. When you do that and you engage in that, you view people differently, you view yourself differently, you devalue people. And I think that is the devaluing of human life is a much greater problem in our society, but it's no better seen than in the porn industry. We devalue ourselves when we engage in that. We are committing sexual sin, but also to the person we're lusting after. We view them as not a person, not a human being, but as just a piece of meat, as a product, a commodity to be used and abused for our pleasure. And that's terrible. This is, instead of viewing this individual as just some person on the internet, view them as your sister, view them as someone's daughter, someone's sister. And how would you feel, right? If that was your daughter, if that was your sister, if that was your mother even, how would you feel if someone looked at them the same way that you do? You'd probably not take too kindly to that, right? And so that's how we should look at it. And we have to understand that's how God sees it as well, right? I mean, he creates everyone, and to view people in such a low manner is terrible. And I think when we change our mindset, we recognize how truly dangerous this industry is. It just treats women in particular as just commodities, as sex objects, and that's awful. And so all men should quit, not just for a month, not just for a few years, forever, right? They should never touch it. And again, I'm not trying to be judgmental. People fall back into vices, of course, but it is one of the most dangerous things in our society because no one cares, no one talks about it. And because of that, a lot of young people think that it's okay, that it's right, when it's not. And we already see things like AI being used for weird porn stuff. And that's the natural conclusion to when you allow it in society, when we allow it on a personal level. So I think we have to talk about it. We have to talk about its dangers, that it's not just this normal thing. It's not normal, right? Pornography was not normal. It was pretty much not a thing until 5 minutes ago when the internet became a thing. And you had to look, Playboy and stuff like that, but not even comparable. I mean, you have 10-year-olds who have access to this stuff with the click of a button. That's awful. That's terrible. That's very bad. And we have to stop that. So we need to spread awareness about the dangers of it. And I do think, No Nut November and stuff like that might be slightly beneficial because it can wake people up to the negative attributes of this. But ultimately, it shouldn't be a challenge. It should be a lifelong commitment, a commitment to yourself and also to your future spouse, right? Like you're engaging in kind of adultery when you're doing this. You're cheating against your future spouse. You're doing a huge disservice to your future spouse and to your future children as well, right? You want to tell your future children that you looked at a whole bunch of women in such a demeaning way, right? Like no one wants to do that. There's a reason people don't like to talk about this, because it's shameful, and that's a good thing. It should be shameful. People should feel shame for doing something like this, and I think it's good that it's shameful, but we should be talking about it, and instead of hiding it, we should acknowledge that there's a reason we feel a certain way. We don't go around screaming on rooftops that we've looked at stuff like that because it's bad. And if we are afraid of the public reaction, maybe we should be afraid of God's reaction and how he feels about it. So if you're a young man that struggles with this, or even an older man, you got to give it up. And I know it's certainly easier said than done, but one of the most beneficial things for me is it's not just a pixels on a screen. It's a person. It's a living, breathing person with hopes, dreams, ambitions, made in the image of God. It's someone's daughter. It's someone's potential wife, mother, sister, fill in the blank. It's that person is someone to someone else. And to view them as just an object, to just a commodity, is terrible. You wouldn't want that for yourself. You wouldn't want that for your family members, for your children. So don't do it to others, right? As Jesus says, treat others as we want to be treated. And I think that is exemplified when we look at pornography and say, no, I don't want to view that person that way. I don't want to devalue them. I want to uphold their value as I would want them to uphold mine. So if you're struggling with porn, got to get off of it. Seek Christ. He is the true remedy for it. And, if you don't believe me that, it's, not that bad, give it up for a month, give it up for a year, and see the change. Because, I did it. I was a naysayer. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But after I gave it up for a time, God convicted me on it, and I realized it was a big deal, and it is a problem. So I encourage all young men, get off of it, and you will see the benefit. And if you're struggling with it, turn to Jesus, right? There's a lot of people online who will give you all kinds of information and stuff, but ultimately he's the only remedy for such things, and for not just that problem, but all the problems in your life. They can all be solved through the power of Christ. So I hope that you have a fruitful battle with this vice, and I hope that you can turn to God and that he can free you from addiction, because he can do it for me. He's done it for me, and he can do it for you too.